time I yelled and screamed. We're yelling and screaming. We are yelling and screaming. One of my daughters got engaged. So she called me right as I was about to do a live stream. So we are just still blown.
Anybody see me now?
Yes. So you need to make sure you got clothes on, Jim. I guess we have a guest. I guess he has clothes on. So I can't really. I need to talk about Bill Gothard, but I'm just jumping for joy right now with the engagement. It's exciting. Okay. Somebody was talking about Bill Gothard and making a lot of things they were saying that they knew for sure about the Gothard and the ATI IBLP. And she got a lot of things wrong. I'm just going to come right out there and throw it out there. There is someone saying that Putin and the government of Russia are in line with Gothard, and that Gothard is doing his thing there because of them, and he's a boss and all that. I am having the best day today. Bliss and Janine, my daughter got engaged. That's why I'm late getting to this, because she got engaged and she called me up to show me the ring. And it was just like, I'm supposed to be on YouTube right now, but I can't. I'm jumping for joy for the stupid thing. Finally, it happened. So anyway, Bill Gothard is not a Russian mobster at all. Thank you. Yes, he operates in Russia. The IBLP, ATI, they have an office in Russia. They've had an office in Russia since before Russia was actually Russia. I think they were there back when it was the Soviet Union. There was some underground activities there as well. So that's really what I want to say. He's not a Russian mob boss. And the ATI has one mission over there. Their entire mission is to spread the word of ATI IBLP. That's their entire mission. Number one. And number two, a side note, and they were doing this for a while. I don't know if they're doing it any longer. So that's because I haven't seen anything to show that they still are. They used to do orphanages. ATI did in Russia and some of the other countries, some of the Eastern European countries that people adopt kids from. And been gay for those shoulders after the reach. So they're adopting kids left and right out of Eastern Europe. That was a huge thing for a long time in evangelical fundamentalist Christianity quiverful edition. They would teach you how to adopt all these kids. You could adopt all these foreign kids super cheap. The reality is that there wasn't much screening going on. It was, quote, Christian orphanage organizations doing this. And they did not have the massive amount of screening and questions that they have in the States. And you could get somebody to write you up a home evaluation and say any damn thing. There's just so many that the Christians just completely, evangelical Christians especially, they just go crazy. So, and they never ask questions or do any of that stuff. They never get anybody's bona fides, whatever. That's all it's geared towards. That was the only other thing. Like I said, he doesn't know Putin. I doubt he has any politico people in his pocket over there, because worldwide the ATI has been shrinking. ATI IBLP, and I know this is ATI. This person is IBLP. Well, that's not even the official name of the place and the people. The only prominent politicians, even stateside, that have been in the pocket of Bill Gothard when he ran the place was like Jim Bob Duggar and his ilk, people who are low-level state senators. There aren't very many members of Congress or the Senate that are IBLP, ATI members. Very, very few. So we don't have to worry about us of his political grasp or his his political grasp, his influence. We don't really have to worry about that, or he has politicians in his pocket, because this thing has been shrinking. There's nobody high level joining. Let's kill our bot. Oh, I see. Yeah, those guys. I don't know why they're doing that. Where was I? And the IBLP, they don't even teach corporal punishment to the same level that the Pearls do with their No Greater Joy ministry in their book. They push smacking your child around all the time. Jim Bob Duggar picked it up from them. Supposedly, that book has been seen in their house. The book that the Pearls wrote, To Train Up a Child, supposedly it's been seen there. And Jim Bob has been quoted as saying these different things, and Michelle taught it. She taught that No Greater Joy Pearl stuff with the blanket training. That's, well, IBLP seems like they like to discipline children and have talked about it. It's not their official position to pull a switch and beat the hell out of a child. At least not like it is with, think about that for a second, with the Pearls. So, happy Catterday. Happy Catterday. Hey, Amanda. So they don't teach the corporal punishment all the way across the board. Bill Gothard was accused of forcible touching and other things like that. About over 40 women. Over 20 signed up for the lawsuit, the class action lawsuit against him over his inappropriate fondling and other things he's done. Think more Masher and not any takes forcible, guys. More like a Masher level sort of things he did. They're still wrong. They're still illegal. A lot of things he did because they were two teenage girls. These women were teenagers when all this touching occurred. So that settled out of court. And nobody knows for sure what the settlement entailed. Bill Gothard stepped down from IBLP shortly thereafter in ATI. Yeah, and there's a lot of allegations being said about Gil Bates, because I always want to say Bill Gates. I guess that would be it when I talk about him. But he came onto the board when Gothard was still in power. He voted with the board to remove Gothard, is my understanding. So it's not quite. No shame or ethics. Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. That's a long, long reach. Michelle did advocate for blanket training in several of their videos, and that disappeared. They're still doing the blanket training. They're just not doing it on camera, sort of thing. It was kind of funny to me the whole time that the Duggars were on television. The entire time, every time something started to go against them with the viewers, if the viewers said, why? Because the first couple of specials, they had the kids doing stuff and saying stuff that people wrote in and complained about, like the blanket training, but other things. Like at one point, they were feeding the kids like bologna sandwiches, the worst of the worst, what I've always called poor food, the kind of foods you buy when you don't have a lot of money. And then suddenly, the next thing we know, these kids were still getting their white bread, bologna sandwich, but they were also getting a piece of fruit with it, like an orange on camera. So viewer complaints play a huge role on the Duggar show. Not for bedrock things, but just not showing the things. And that's really something that is huge in ATI IBLP, is it doesn't matter what it is. It just matters what it looks like to everybody else. I was grateful. She may have some kind of grudge against Putin and wants him to fire on the U.S. I swear, I wonder sometimes if she doesn't have a giant axe to grind with various people like maybe Putin. So, hillbilly tostada, pan-fried bologna with salsa on bread. Oh my goodness, that actually sounds good. I'm not objecting to a good bologna, particularly the ones that comes in the roll and you can slice it as thin or as thick as you like. That's the good stuff. We used to sell that. We had our store. Order a bunch of 10-pound rolls of bologna. It did, Amanda, because that's when they started taking more and more healthier steps. And some of the healthier steps were kind of insane. Like at one part, somebody was accusing them of giving the kids bad snacks. So the next thing you know, every time you saw the kids, they had either A, pickle, or B, they had canned green beans as a snack. And where that's funny is the Duggars did feed their children, even when they didn't have much money, but they were feeding the kids, I'm going to call it standard poverty food kind of things on camera. They weren't feeding them the best in the world, but at least they were feeding them. I could mention at least 3 other Fundy families I know where nobody eats, well, except the parents. She's the dumbest person alive. That's what she's trying to do. No, she wants to be known as the queen of the IBLP. I love fried bologna with melted cheese on toast. It's one of my favorites too. I think it's really awesome. Really, really awesome. But I don't get a chance to have it quite as often as I used to. Here, they'll have like a bologna-like type meat substance. Can't tell if it's supposed to be bologna or it's supposed to be ham because it's kind of halfway between the two. And they put that on hamburgers here. They add that on the hamburger. I guess they think hamburgers must have ham, and it's not very good like that. That's one of the first things I ask. Are you going to put any ham or bologna on that? If you are, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. And so they changed everything they did. They changed how they dressed. They changed drastically how they dressed. They changed what they were feeding the food. And like I said, at least they were feeding the kids the food, unlike cough, cough, Jill Rodriguez, cough, cough, because every time you see her feeding the kids, it's minor amounts of stuff. So I'm always amazed by Jill that she gets all this outward signs, but her kids look like they ran away from concentration camps almost. I bet they would wipe out the local church's food pantries to the point they're asked to stop coming. Amanda, I don't know that, but it could be. Now, I saw the video she did telling Amy to shut up. That was pathetic. But I think she wants to be known as the queen of the IBLP, which is kind of silly because if you've been part of it ever or been close to people, it's very different than what's being discussed. Green beans. I'm not a fan of green beans, but I know everybody else, a lot of people in this world are. Okay, I got a guest here. So I wanted to just come on this and say what the IBLP was like and all that. So I should probably wrap this up. I was on almost an hour yesterday. So I just want to go on there and tell you what the IBLP really stood for. Maybe I'll come on tonight. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, love you guys. I'm going to go and do my thing with a guest here. I think we're going to go out for lunch.